When a man craves a high-value woman, he does not just ask her out, he tests her first, and she will never know it is happening. That is the part that changes everything. Because most women think a man who is interested just shows up and makes it obvious. They think attraction looks like confidence and boldness and a man who just goes for it. And sometimes it does. But a man who actually wants something real, a man who has been hurt before, a man who knows what he wants and does not want to waste his time on the wrong person, that man does not just go for it. He watches first, he listens. He asks questions that sound like nothing, and in those questions he is doing something most women never see coming. He is figuring out if she is actually who she appears to be. Because a man who craves a high-value woman has met women who looked the part before. Women who seemed confident and interesting and put together on the surface, and then something in the conversation shifted and the picture fell apart. So now he does not just go by what he sees, he goes by what she says. Specifically, what she says when she has no idea she is being watched that closely. And the 4 questions he uses to do that are the ones almost nobody talks about because they do not sound like tests. They sound like a normal conversation. They sound like he is just getting to know her. But every single one of them is pulling out information he needs to know before he decides whether this woman is worth going all in for. And most women answer them in ways that quietly push him back without ever meaning to. Not because they are doing something wrong, but because nobody ever told them what he is actually listening for underneath the words. So, that is what this is. An honest look at those 4 questions. What they sound like, what they actually mean, and what a woman who genuinely is high value says when they come up. Not as a performance, not as a strategy, just as herself, because the truth is, if you already are a high-value woman, these questions are not a trap. They are actually the moment where everything he has been hoping is true about you finally gets confirmed, but you have to know what he is looking for first. Now, here is something that most women get completely wrong about the way men think when they are serious about someone. And without understanding this part, the 4 questions will not make sense. So, stay with this for a moment because this is the piece that ties everything together. Men who want something real are far more careful than they look. Not cold, not calculating, just careful. Because most men who are serious about finding the right woman have already gone through the experience of feeling certain about someone who turned out not to be who he thought she was. He felt the pull. He moved toward her. He started to actually feel something. And then something showed up in her that he did not expect. Maybe she needed constant reassurance. Maybe the moment things felt secure, she stopped being the woman he was drawn to. Maybe she had no real sense of who she was outside of the relationship. And that experience, even if it only happened once, teaches a man something he never forgets. It teaches him to look more carefully before he lets himself feel too much. So when he meets a woman he is genuinely drawn to, a woman who makes him sit up a little straighter, a woman who makes him think this could actually be something, he does not just run toward that feeling. He slows down. He pays attention. He starts listening at a different level, not because he does not trust her, but because he does not want to be wrong again about something that matters this much to him. And the way he does that, paying attention, is through conversation, through those 4 questions. Questions that let him see who she actually is underneath the version of herself she might be presenting. Because a high-value woman does not crumble under those questions. She does not even notice them as tests. She just answers from who she actually is. And that is what he is looking for. Someone whose real self holds up. Someone whose answer does not change depending on how she thinks it will land. Someone who is so grounded in who she is that even a casual question pulls out something genuine and interesting and solid. That is the woman he is trying to find. And these 4 questions are how he looks for her. So here is the first one. The first question sounds so ordinary that most women do not think twice about it when it comes up. It blends right into the normal flow of getting to know someone. It sounds like something you would ask anyone. But when it is coming from a man who is watching a woman he genuinely wants, it is doing something very specific underneath. It is not small talk. It is the first piece of information he actually needs. The first question is some version of this. What do you do when you are not working? Or what does a normal week look like for you? Or what do you actually do for fun? It might come out even simpler than that. He might just ask what you did over the weekend or what you have been up to lately. Simple, easy, sounds like nothing. But here is what he is actually asking when he asks that. He is not asking about your schedule. He is asking if you have a life, a real one, a full one, a life that is yours, that you care about, that exists and moves and means something to you even when no man is in the picture. Because this is something that matters enormously to a man who wants something serious. A woman who has her own full life, her own things she is into, her own world she is building. That woman is interesting to him. She pulls him in. She feels like someone worth getting to know because there is genuinely something to get to know. But a woman whose answer to what do you do for fun is basically nothing much, or just work honestly, or I don't know, I just hang out. That answer does not make him feel like there is a world here he wants to step into. And for a man who is serious, that matters. Because what he is really asking underneath that question is this: is there a person here? Is there someone with their own thing going on? Someone who would stay interesting 6 months in? Someone who would not need me to fill every empty hour of her life the moment things got comfortable? Most women answer this question in one of two ways that both miss the mark. The first way is to go small, to say, not much honestly, or just the usual stuff. And that sounds humble, but what it actually does is hand him nothing to hold on to. There is no world there, no texture, nothing for him to be curious about. The second way women miss this is by going the other direction and listing everything in a way that sounds like she is trying to impress him. She names 5 hobbies in 10 seconds and it comes out like a resume. And that lands wrong too. It sounds like she is performing rather than just being. What actually works is the real version, the honest, simple version of a woman who is actually living her life and does not need to dress it up for anyone. It might sound like this. Honestly, I have been getting really into cooking lately, like actually learning properly, not just throwing things together. Or it might sound like this. I have been spending a lot of time with my friends lately. We have this thing on weekends where we try a new place every week, and it has just kind of become our thing. Or even just, I got back into reading recently and I forgot how much I actually love it. None of those are impressive, but all of them are real. And real is what lands. Real is what makes him lean in a little more. Because the moment he hears a woman talk about her own life with actual warmth, with the kind of ease that only comes from someone who is genuinely living it, something shifts for him. She becomes more interesting. Not harder to reach, just more worth reaching for. And there is something else that answer tells him. It tells him how she would be in a relationship. A woman with her own life, her own interests, her own sense of who she is, that woman is not going to fall apart the first time things get hard. She is not going to make him her whole world in a way that quietly crushes him under the weight of it. She is going to stay herself. And for a man who is thinking about something real that matters more than almost anything else he could learn about her at this stage. So when he asks what your life looks like, do not shrink the answer. Do not perform it either. Just let the real version show up. Because the real version, when it is genuinely yours, is always the most attractive thing you can hand him. Now here is what happens after he hears a real answer to that first question. Something in him settles a little. The curiosity does not go away. It actually grows. The conversation shifts. It gets a little more focused, a little less surface level. The easy back and forth starts to have more weight to it. And that is when the second question shows up. The second question goes a little deeper. And this one is the one most women answer in a way that does real damage without meaning to. Because it sounds even softer than the first one, even more casual. Like he is just making conversation. But he is not just making conversation. The second question sounds something like this. Do you get along with your family, or are you close with the people around you? Or even just, what are your people like? Simple, light, normal. Sounds like the kind of thing anyone would ask. But here is what a man is actually trying to find out when he asks that. He is not gathering background information. He is reading something. He is watching how she talks about the people closest to her. Because the way a woman talks about the relationships in her life tells a man something he cannot find out any other way. It tells him what she is like when things are not new anymore. It tells him how she handles complicated feelings. It tells him whether she is the kind of woman who can hold closeness without turning it into something heavy or dramatic or exhausting. Because a man who is serious is not just thinking about right now, he is thinking about 6 months from now, a year from now. He is asking himself what it would actually feel like to be the person closest to this woman. And the way she talks about the people who are already close to her gives him a real answer to that question before he has to find out the hard way. Most women get this question wrong in one of two directions. The first direction is to go negative without meaning to. She starts talking about her family, and within 2 minutes, there is a story about someone who hurt her or let her down or who she does not really talk to anymore. And she does not mean for it to come out that way. It just does. Because those feelings are real. And when someone asks about the people in her life, those feelings come up. But what he hears in that answer is not her history. What he hears is how she carries her history. And if she carries it right there at the surface, ready to pour out, the moment someone asks that, tells him something about what being close to her might feel like. The second direction women go wrong is to go too perfectly positive. Everything is great, everyone is wonderful, no complications anywhere. And that sounds good on the surface, but it actually sounds hollow. Because real relationships are complicated. And a woman who presents her whole inner circle as flawless either does not have real depth in those relationships, or she is not willing to be honest about them. And neither of those things feels good to a man who is looking for someone real. What actually works is something honest and warm and grounded. It might sound like this: we are close, but we are complicated. Like any family, I guess. But underneath all of it, we actually really care about each other. Or it might sound like this: my friends are honestly some of the best people I know. We have been through a lot together, and that just makes it better. Not perfect, but real. Those answers show something. They show that she has real closeness in her life, that she values it, that she is not someone who walks away from things the moment they get hard, that she knows how to stay. And for a man who is thinking about whether this woman is someone he could build something with, that is one of the most important things she could show him. Now, the third question. This one is the one that catches most women completely off guard, because it does not even feel like a question about her at all. It feels like he is just talking, just thinking out loud, just sharing something. But he is watching her response very carefully. The third question comes out something like this: what do you think about this thing I am dealing with? Or he might just bring up a challenge he is facing at work or in life and ask what she thinks. Or he might describe a situation and just say, what would you do? Again, sounds like nothing. Sounds like normal conversation between two people getting to know each other. But here is what is actually happening in that moment. He is not asking for advice. He is watching how she responds to his vulnerability. Because a man who is strong and capable and used to handling things himself does not share his challenges casually. When he does it with a woman, he is doing it on purpose. He is giving her a small window into something real. And what he is watching for is what she does with that window. Does she walk through it with him? Does she listen first? Does she take it seriously? Does she make him feel like sharing that was the right call? Or does she immediately jump to fixing it? Does she minimize it? Does she make it about her? Does she give him a list of things he should do before he even finishes the sentence? Because a woman who cannot sit with a man in a hard moment without immediately trying to solve it or shift the subject or make herself feel less uncomfortable, that woman is going to be exhausting to be close to over time. But a woman who can just be present, who can hear something real and respond to it with warmth and actual attention, who makes him feel genuinely heard without making a big performance out of listening, that woman feels like somewhere safe. And a man who wants something serious is looking for somewhere safe. He has people in his life who give him advice. He has people who tell him what to do. What he is looking for in a partner is someone who makes him feel less alone in the hard stuff, not someone who fixes it, someone who stays in it with him for a moment before anything else. Most women miss this because they want to help, and that is a good thing. But helping too fast, solving too quickly, jumping to the answer before he has even finished telling her the problem, that communicates something he does not want to feel. It communicates that she is uncomfortable with his struggle, that she needs it resolved so she can feel okay again. And that is the opposite of what he needs from her. What works is simpler than most women think. It is just listening, actually listening, and then asking one question that shows she heard him. Not offering 5 solutions, not telling him what she would do, just showing him that she caught what he actually said. That one thing, that small, simple act of real attention lands harder than anything else she could say in that moment. So when he opens a door like that, do not rush through it with answers. Walk through it slowly. Stay there with him for a moment, because that is what he is actually asking her to do. And the women who understand that are the ones he does not forget. Now here is the 4th question, and this one is the deepest one. This is the one that tells him almost everything he has not been able to confirm yet. This is the question that decides whether he moves forward or pulls back. The 4th question sounds like this: what do you actually want? Or where do you see things going for you? Or are you happy with where your life is right now? It might come out even softer than that. He might just say, what does that actually look like for you? Or even just, what do you want out of all of this? Soft, simple, easy to brush past. But this question is doing more work than any of the other 3, because what he is really asking is this: does she know herself? Does she have a direction? Is she a woman who is going somewhere, or a woman who is waiting for the right person to come along and give her somewhere to go? Because this is the thing about a man who craves a high-value woman. He does not want to be her whole world. He wants to be part of a world she is already building. He does not want to be the thing that gives her life meaning. He wants to meet a woman whose life already has meaning and then figure out if he gets to be in it. So when he asks what you want, what you are going after, where you see things going, he is checking, is there a direction here? Is there a woman here who knows who she is and where she is headed? Because that woman, the one who has a life and a direction and a sense of herself that does not depend on anyone else, that woman is the one he is craving. And her answer to this question either confirms that picture or quietly falls apart. Most women answer this one wrong in one of 2 ways that do real damage. The first way is to go too heavy too fast. To say something like, I am looking for something serious. I am ready to settle down. I want a real relationship. And none of those things are wrong to want. But landing that answer here, in this moment, when things are still early and still light, makes the whole conversation feel like a job interview. It puts weight on something that should still feel easy. And he pulls back. Not because he does not want something serious, but because the weight of that answer lands wrong at this stage. The second way women get this wrong is to go too vague. To say, oh, I am just going with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. And that sounds easy and breezy on the surface, but it actually says something that a serious man finds very unattractive. It says she has no idea what she wants. And a man who is serious does not want to figure out what a woman wants for her. He wants a woman who already knows. What actually works sits right between those 2. It sounds something like this: honestly, I am in a really good place right now. I know what I want, and I am not in a rush about it, but I am definitely open to something real when it feels right. That is the whole answer. It says she has direction. It says she is not desperate. It says she is open, but she has standards. And it does all of that without making the conversation feel heavy before it has earned that weight. Or it might sound like this: I am really focused on building my own thing right now, but I think when the right thing shows up, I would know it. Same message, different words. She is going somewhere. She is not waiting. She is open, but she is not available to just anyone who shows up. And when a man hears that answer, something changes in how he sees her. She stops being someone he is curious about and becomes someone he actually wants to earn. Not in a game-playing way, in the real way, in the way you feel about something that matters to you. Because things that come too easy do not stay interesting. But something that asked you to show up properly to get there, something that felt like it was actually worth reaching for, that feeling does not go away quickly. That is what these 4 questions are really doing. Underneath all the surface conversation, they are not tricks, they are not traps. They are a man trying to figure out if the woman sitting across from him is actually who she appears to be, if she has a real life, if she has real relationships, if she can be present with him in a real moment, if she knows who she is and where she is going. Those four things together paint a picture. And if that picture holds up, if every answer she gives adds to it instead of taking something away, that man does not walk away wondering. He walks away decided. He walks away knowing that this woman is the real thing. And that is not something he finds very often. So here is what to actually take from all of this into your real life. When he asks about your life, let the real version show up. Not the polished version, not the humble version, the actual version of a woman who is genuinely living her days and genuinely cares about the things she cares about. That is what is attractive, not the list, the energy behind the list. When he shares something hard, slow down, listen first, ask one good question. Let him feel actually heard before anything else. When he asks what you want, do not go heavy and do not go vague. Stay in the middle. Show him you know yourself. Show him you have somewhere you are going. Show him you are open, but you are not waiting around. Because here is the truth that ties all four of these questions together. A man who craves a high-value woman is not looking at how she looks. He already knows how she looks. He is looking at how she lives. He is looking at whether she is a full person or someone waiting to become one. He is looking at whether she knows herself, whether she has depth in her relationships, whether she can be present with him, whether she has a direction,